I play unhealthy amounts of Tarkov at night. I've got about just over 4,000 hours. I still consider myself average or below average at the game, still learning. And yeah, I'm the rat, the resident rat of the group.
The resident rat.
As long as you said it and not us.
Oh, I agree with him. I agree with him.
I'm not too proud. I play slow and I can, bust out a few Chad moves every once in a while.
I feel that.
And I'm
sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties with my camera as well, so
yep,
I do apologize.
We're looking at a stock Wiz image here along with a stock Converts image, but that's fine. We've got both you guys here in the Discord talking and being able to share your opinions, so I think it's going to work out just fine. I'm Bad Barbados. I've been streaming now for almost 2 years. I've got roughly 5,800 hours into Tarkov. Enough to know when I mess up, I should have done something different. And that's the reason why we're here today. So, welcome in episode number 2, guys. And shortly after the airing here on Twitch, people should be able to find the VOD also uploaded to YouTube. Are you gentlemen also uploading this to your channels as well, I hope? Yep, good deal.
I did. Yeah.
So if you're not following these fine gentlemen, you need to give them a follow and check out their VODs afterwards to rewatch this in case there's something you might have missed, or just to see our handsome faces. So there's that. But the whole gist of the podcast, for anybody new to the podcast, is we're taking clips that are either our own from our personal file or from anybody who is donating clips and for us to review, but we're taking death clips essentially, and we're breaking down the fight after it's happened, okay? And I know a lot can be said about, maybe backseat quarterbacking a fight because we're looking at it. We're not in that fight. Some of these cases, we are the one that was in that fight. Last episode, Wiz had a video in there that was his own. From, and Converts also had a video in there that was his own as well. And, this is a fight that they experienced that they're able to now reflect on. And we're kind of showing that reflection and hoping that not only we will learn from it, but also maybe the viewers at home will also learn from these fights and help them become a better Tarkov player. That's the goal for us. And I have thrown a couple of my own in there so we can tear apart my videos too, okay? I've got a couple good ones. So let's lead off here. I'm actually going to lead off with one of my own clips, and then we'll take a look at it. And we'll go from there, gentlemen. Does that sound about right? Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Sure.
All right. Good deal. Okay, let's go ahead and flip over to the review screen, and we'll watch the clip. Hold on a second here. Got to unmute the tab first.
That would help.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm running out. I'm trying to make my way to extract. My team is already out, by the way. Fuck, come on, man. I didn't know they had already gotten out, so I'm the lone soldier in here. Come down to the hole. Oh, shit. Fuck. Let's watch that again in slow motion.
That was last night.
That was last night.
Pull the source audio down just a little bit because it's louder than you when you're talking.
Is
just
it?
a smidgen. Yeah, just
Yeah, you just turn it down right here in the browser.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, that's much better.
Barb's just full send right now. Full
Just
send.
try, dude. I even popped I popped an SJ6 up top, or I popped a PK, sorry, on the way up, and I'm like, all right, I'm just getting out.
You a little injured right there too? Oh no.
Yeah, I was a little injured. I was actually dehydrated. Uh-oh, what happened? There we go. And then let me slow this. We'll just do half speed because it's embarrassing. All right, so here I am. I'm just full send down the hole. Okay, I'm expecting nothing to be there. And then something was there. So we got two guys here, and there's one guy off to the left here.
It sounds like there's one beneath you, right?
There was one, well, to the left of me, sorry. Okay.
Jeez.
Okay. All right. It's embarrassing. But you know what? It's okay. This is how we learn. All right, guys. So let's tear down this. Let's tear down this video, man. Let's
Barb, I think we can. I think we can rip you apart on this one.
please. That's the point. Okay. So let me start with ripping myself first, okay? Let me
I think
start.
That's fair.
Yeah, let 5,000 hours in the game, and I'm like, nah, there's not going to be anybody in this really highly contested area. No, I mean, because, you know, when you're going down that hole, we literally call it kill a hole for a reason. Because he's either up top of it or he's down below it, but he's probably somewhere in the vicinity, and you don't just run through that hole like you freaking own the mall, because that's what happens. So, hindsight being part of the name here, hindsight being what it is, I never would have sprinted down that hole that fast. I would have went around to the side and kind of looked down the angle there. But better yet, since my teammates are already out of the mall, I probably would have been better off going out the back of Goshen and not trying to go and be sneaky and go under and out. So there's that. Also, as soon as I saw guys down there, for some reason, I didn't stop and try to shoot until it was too late. I wasn't paying attention. My reaction time was definitely off when it should have been a little bit faster. However, even if I was able to kill one, there's no way putting myself in that predicament that I would have killed all three. Especially since there was a guy directly underneath me, which was now behind me as soon as I jumped off the ramp. So you guys let's go ahead and tear it apart. Come on, guys.
Who wants to start? Because I mean, I got a couple of things just to help, right? Like we
Just
sit
for
and
it.
rip you apart, but I mean,
No, please.
I think that it was one, you just running, right? You know, like you're just running in to kill a hole like you own the fucking mall, and that was first and foremost the biggest issue there. But I think you're in that situation, you've already committed. I think you overcommitted. You know, I think you could have stopped on the ramp and maybe backpedaled a little bit and given yourself a little bit more of a chance there, or even just done a full fucking 180 and just ran back up the ramp, you know, like just get out of the situation. It's already at least a 1v2. You do have the high ground, but then you overcommitted and dropped down into it. Now it's a split second, but you overcommitted, dropped down, you know, ADS'd on the guys. I think, you know, just a flip a bitch and go the opposite direction, I think would be the best option there.
I like it. I completely agree. Yeah, there's no excuse for that one, man. There was not like I lagged or whatever. There's no excuse for that. I literally just ran right into a 3-man and got mowed down. I don't even know if I would consider that a fight as much as it's just a crapped my pants type of situation.
You had no chance.
There was zero.
Especially when you
chance there.
dropped off the ramp. I don't even know.
I don't know why I kept pushing forward.
For a split second, did you think that was us?
Yeah, I did actually. For a split second, and you know what though? Okay, but hold on. So, for a split second there, I thought that was my teammates because I knew you guys were on your way to Emercom. I knew you guys were on your way out. I know that there was a comm there saying that you guys were at the ramps. I knew though, I'm not trying to make an excuse. I knew that the ramps you meant were the ramps at the back of Ollie and not that ramp. I knew that. I was trying to play catch up to get to you guys at the ramps, so I went down the killer hole. Just full send, trying to get out of the map instead of actually playing it as if the raid is still on. You know what I mean? So that was a huge fuck up on my part for sure. Differently though, you're right. I think Farmer's 100% correct. I should not have kept W keying it down the hole. As soon as I realized that there was feet down there, that I could see feet, I should have been backing it out and getting out of that situation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's much more to say about it.
Well, there's two. I got two things on it. Two things. The first one, I completely agree with you guys. Like, the better thing to do would have been to kind of peek it once you saw the movement, flip a bitch, get back up the ramp. But I've gotta, with Barbados. Usually, when I send it down that hole, it's a full send. It's not a half send. So I probably would have did the same thing. I probably would have ran into them and probably would have had the same outcome. To be honest.
No, but I can completely agree with what, and you know what? Here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, if I'm going down that ramp, I'm also full sending it and jumping off the side. This exact same thing I did here, because most times there's not a 3-man chilling at the bottom of the ramp. I'm not jumping into shark infested waters. But what I will say though is I completely agree with the assessment from Farmer and from Verts. At this point, I froze at this particular spot for a reason. At this point, they're both looking away from me. They don't even know I'm coming down the ramp, but I see them. At this point, I could have started backpedaling and may have gotten out with a couple hits to the legs. Right? Because they can't.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, the guy that's just below you to your left, he's hearing you and he's calling to those guys right now, going, hey, someone's coming, guaranteed,
Yeah, but they had no idea I was coming down the ramp at this point.
I was going to say right there, I think like you're maybe a second longer, and that first forward guy, swivels.
Yep.
And that's when you're dropping down off of it too. Like it's so fast. But yeah, those guys are coming. I do also want to point out, this is probably the third or the fourth time, and I'm not running interchange a whole bunch, that I've had people in this corner. I feel like the last several wipes, people really haven't been around that area other than to just hit a couple of boxes. But I feel like, even we have been running into, multiple 3-4 mans in this right next to this kill hole.
Mm-hmm. And, reasons that they could be down in that area. Well, there's loot boxes down there for one. Also, they could be hunting Killa for all we know. And that hunting Killa could be, they just dropped down that hole to see if Killa was there.
How much time was left again?
In raid, I want to say like 11, maybe 12 minutes. Because as soon as I died in this fight, if I remember correctly, Wiz, you had already made it out. Converts was hiding by the containers waiting for these guys to come out because, why let them get out
that's
of my
right.
stuff?
I had the task items or the
you had the task item, and Verts was waiting.
Yeah.
And Verts wasn't waiting very long before the red timer started, which means it was like maybe 11 minutes left in raid. But I agree. I think at this point I should have went, oh shit, started backpedaling, but instead I W keyed forward, and you guys saw the results. It wasn't pretty, but it is what it is. So even 2 seconds in here, as I'm coming down the ramp, I still probably could have backed out. One guy was running away from me. The only guy that even saw me and was trying to line up a shot was this one guy next to the container.
Does the forward guy not swivel? I thought that he swiveled. He's still going.
He swiveled to his left and took off running to the left. Let's see here. That's when he swivels and looks at me. That's a full 2 seconds. I could have been turned around and backpedaled out, and I didn't do it. And I got to learn from that. I got to learn to not take that ramp so hard, because there could be a 3-man chilling underneath the ramp.
I kind of feel like, honestly, even if you did turn around, back up, and you went to take another way out, I have a feeling you were still going to run into those guys regardless. Maybe closer to the exfil or another choke point. I don't know.
So I had to go to Emercom because that was my extract. And I was up top in the middle of the mall. And I could have gone down the middle esky and then did a 180 and went right out the back of Emercom. Gone out through Goshen and went right out the back of Goshen and out. And I wouldn't have ran into these guys because you and converts were already waiting for me there at the ramps. So all I had to do was do that, and I would have been fine. But instead, I tried to take a more exotic route, also one that is more heavily trafficked. Like Farmer said, you run into people there quite often. That's a hot spot on the map. So,
and honestly, it really is kind of a 90% of the time full send, because there's really not a ratty tactical way to kind of go up or down that hole. You know, it's kind of like you can kind of sit there at the rim and, like, you know, check your angles, pie it out a little bit, but you don't want to be sitting there for very long. So 9 times out of 10, you're like flipping the coin, you know.
I completely agree.
I don't know.
Agree.
At least for me.
I mean, you could technically say that about the entirety of Tarkov, right? I mean,
yeah.
You're constantly flipping a coin, going around a corner. You know, you'd never know.
Exactly. And so, you know, what do we do? You know, you have to take it a little bit differently, I guess, and not push that hole. And I've learned my lesson from it. I shouldn't be pushing that hole that way anymore.
I feel like you did see them before you dropped, like, or it was just kind of like all registered at once. You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, I don't know, if I would have saw those guys right before I dropped, I definitely would have tried to at least back up, or, you know. But
Part
then you hear the guy just below you to your left or something. So
that was like, that was my
it's a sticky situation, man.
That was my oh shit moment. Honestly, when I came down the ramp, part of me was like, God, please let these be my teammates. As bad as that sounds, that was exactly my mentality. It's like, oh, please. Oh, it's not. Crap. Anyways, all right, guys, let's take a look at this next clip, okay? Don't worry, we're gonna get back to another Bad Barbados flumper very shortly. Okay, very shortly. And so let me load up the next video for us to review.
I need to get some of mine in here. I need to embarrass myself too.
It's more than welcome, brother. They're all welcome. They're all welcome. So this next clip is actually a clip that was sent to us by one of the viewers. It was a clip that was sent in by Mr. ETG. I believe we've seen ETG in Wiz's chat. ETG clip made the cut. We're going to talk about one of his clips right now. You guys ready to get into this?
Ready.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, let me unmute the tab, and yeah, we're ready to go. All right, let's take a look at this clip from ETG. He is on Shoreline down in the little village here. He's fighting another PMC, and the fight doesn't go as well as he thought it was going to. Okay.
Oof.
One more time, slow-mo, just before we start to analyze this. Okay.
Number one, no PK.
Number one, no PK. You are 100% correct, sir.
Number two, bad audio got his ass.
Bad audio.
I don't actually necessarily think that was because you're hearing the guy on the right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that he started getting shot at, rounds were coming through the side of the shed. I think that there was a guy in the house.
So at this point, when he's making his way to the doorway of the shed, rounds are coming from the back door. That guy pre-fired that door.
Yeah, that's what it's looking.
Is that coming? So he was probably in the doorway, right? Shooting through the doorway, and then he backpedaled on there.
The guy inside was probably in that doorway, the inside doorway, pre-firing. He probably had a right-hand peek on that doorway and was pre-firing this doorway as he came in. So as soon as the barrel, actually, to be honest, if we look down, you can see the PMC's shadow coming into the doorway. So he knew he was coming in. You can see the shadow moving in the doorway on the floor.
Right.
So
yeah.
the PMC in there knew he was getting pushed in. He knew he was coming at that time. He started to pre-fire the door.
That's what those rounds are then. So then maybe there weren't two.
Yeah, so it was as he pushed in, he was getting shot from a right-hand peak.
So versus right, bad audio for sure got his ass, because I heard guy on the right.
Audio, for sure. Bad audio for sure, but I also want to break down a couple of things here. He knew that somebody was in this area. Did not clear the building first. The house first. So as he's making his way around the house, he's constantly worried that there's somebody going to be shooting him from one of the windows. And that puts
I noticed he scanned the windows.
He was scanning the window as he went by, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, since this is in the back of the house, maybe I would have went into the house first to clear it, to make sure the house was clear first, and then gone and done the exterior buildings. Also, one thing I'd like to point out is that we mentioned last episode the difference between cover and concealment. And cover is bulletproof. It can protect you, but concealment is only there to block you from the vision. These walls in this shed are not bulletproof.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And at this part of the fight, ETG could have not pushed that doorway, but instead sprayed through the wall and would have definitely done more damage than he did pushing the doorway. In my opinion, if I was in his 100%. Shoes, I would have sprayed the wall. And maybe I would have gotten reported as a cheater for wall hacks or whatever, but I know that that wall is not bulletproof, and I know that I can shoot him, and he's not shooting me because he's hiding. He's waiting for me to push, and he's doing that while he's watching that doorway. And what he's not going to be watching is bullets coming through the wall and hitting him.
Well, two things that I'm notoriously guilty of. I completely agree with everything you guys are saying, but the two things that stood out to me is, like, again, with converts, you know you're about to get in a firefight, PK, and hey, once you kind of realize that guy was in there and the guy started pre-firing, back up and lob a nade through one of the windows, or like you're saying, just start wall banging until you hear you're hitting something, then focus on that area,
Exactly.
But hindsight's 20/20, the heat of the moment sometimes,
Now, I'm going to play the full, it's like almost a minute clip, but let's give it its full justice here, because I do agree with what Verts was saying about the PKs. I agree with you, Wiz. I think, you got to give it full justice here. If you're going to go into that fight, you got to go full. You don't go off half cocked, go full cock. But you could tell he heard somebody in this area, and he pushed that area. He threw a nade in. He was checking windows without a PK and without, using the map to his advantage. So there's that. He threw a nade in one.
Okay.
Here he is. He's throwing
so he is nading. That guy flashed at the rear.
Mm-hmm. Threw a second nade. He's pushing in now. He could have PK'd before you opened that gate. He's worried about the windows. You can see him looking inside.
Right there.
That sounded like it was on the right.
Hold on. That was an ADS inside, wasn't it? We got it back. It
sounded like it.
Go back to here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to listen for it right now.
Yeah, that did sound like to the right in the house.
That was it. That sounded like an ADS in the house, 100%.
It did. And you see him look, too.
Yep, and then he pushed. At this point, I would have been strafing over to the right and trying to hit him behind the wall.
You hit him.
He did
Yeah,
hit
Hit
him.
him through the wall too.
Yeah.
And maybe like once he heard that hit, instead of saying focused, like, you know, kind of slowly start strafing to the right to cover that whole wall, you know, because you're kind of focused on one half of the wall.
Yep.
Well, and that was, I mean, all in like every which way of that push was a bad push too. You know, he emptied at least half a magazine. It was a left-hand push versus a right-hand hold. You know, like, I mean, there was so much against him right there. Guy's already pre-firing him. That would have been a step back and throw nades and
Technically doesn't
Well,
even have
actually-
to push into that building.
yeah.
I was
he
just
can
going
hold
to
it.
say that because there's a one way in and one way out.
That's
Yep.
right. That's right.
Totally agree.
Let's
Totally agree.
Can we break down again, like last episode, we broke down the difference between cover and concealment, but also within the game, I think it's important to point out left hand versus right hand peaks, and being able to hold left hand versus right hand. And my understanding of it is that your PMC is a right-handed person, so he's got the gun is shouldered on his right shoulder. Okay, it's shouldered on his right shoulder. So when you're leaning around a corner or looking around a corner, when you do that on the right side, less of your body is exposed because the gun is already on the left side of your body. But when you're looking around a left-hand peak, sorry, I think I said left hand the first time. It was right hand. But when you're looking on a left-hand peak, since the right shoulder has the gun, when you're leaning over on the left-hand side, more of your body is now visible in the doorway or whatever you're peeking around, because you have to get the gun to clear that threshold. Am I explaining that correctly, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's at the lowest level. Like, right, the only way to, like, there's been plenty of people, I think Veritas has even broken it down to a science, but I mean, that's essentially it. You expose more when you left-hand peek.
There you go, guys. If you're in a hallway or in a room and you have the ability to hold and peek from your right, do so. Less of you will be exposed, and that means less of a target for your enemy to shoot. See, we're learning something new today. Okay. As far as doing anything different there, I mean, we got the PKs, we've got, don't push. Virtue, you saying he doesn't even have to push it at all into that building.
If he knows, especially if he, I'm still debating if there's a guy inside. I know we hear the audio cue inside, but that could be a bad audio cue because you don't hear wood from inside that house.
None.
You have no wood, but you do hear the wood noise from the shed. So I don't know if there's two or not. Based off that, you know where the one guy is. You can either keep him pinned in there because the push is not the right move, or you have a grenade maybe to push him out towards you, or if you don't have a nade, you kind of get an idea where he's at. You can shoot through the wall from the outside. And if there is a second guy, you might still die, but I don't think that audio is true right there. And I would like to ask, or Wiz ask him from whoever chat is he on, does he still have binaural audio on?
He's in the Discord. He submitted them, so yeah, you could DM.
Well, and I want to add to Vertz's thing too, right? Like, we know he knows the guy's in the shed. There's one exit out of the shed. Even if there was a guy in the house, there's one exit out of the house. And there's also technically there's two exits out of that compound, but most people only know going through the gate. So unless they're seasoned players, they're going to have to go out the front gate. There's one exit out of that compound too. He could have egressed out of the compound and just held the doorway. you know, like wait those guys out a little bit if it was to, you know, or he could just push out of the shed and hold the shed.
Yeah.
Well, the inner rat in me, yeah. As soon as I knew that guy was in there and he pre-fired, I would have been backpedaling and just held an angle, you know, or started kind of shooting random shots through the wall until I heard, you know, like until I heard him grunt, and then I would have dumped into that area. But yeah, I probably wouldn't have pushed in there. I would have fell back and just held that door and waited the guy out if I didn't have nades, you know.
I really like how all of your different play styles, and how you would have handled this situation is so different across the board, and that's why I really feel like it's necessary to have all of us doing this at one time, because, you know, Wiz's play style being a rat, he wouldn't even have pushed in at all. He would have held an angle. Verge's play style is he's not really a rat, but he knows not to push into a death funnel. So what would he have done? He would have fed him a nade, or he would have been shooting him through the walls because, hey, buddy, that's not a good place to hide. Plain and simple. Yep. So, you know, I really do appreciate all your guys' different points on that clip. And we're not tearing down ETG at all. To be honest, I'm sure if we went digging, we'd all find clips. We would all find clips very similar to that exact situation where, you know what, at the hindsight, we didn't look at it and go, hey, I could have used the map against him. I could have used... you know, I could have used the hole in the blue fence on Pier from episode 1. I could have used that hole and popped this guy, and he never would have known where he got shot from. And so it's gonna bring us on to the next video, Mr. Wiz. I hope you're okay with being the star of this one, brother.
Oh boy, I told you I got clips for days, man.
You do, and you know, I wanted to show it. I didn't get to show it last week. So it's showing up now. I did get to watch this fight, and I got to be honest with you. When we go to watch this fight, I want you to pay attention to the guy he's shooting at. All right, because he pulls a complete Houdini, disappears from the map, and it is so easy to lose people. Let's take a look and watch this clip. All right, and he's gone.
So right there, I thought I got him.
At that point, you thought you got him because you were popping shots, and all of a sudden he just dropped.
I thought he dropped, but it kind of looked like he dove, like went prone, so that's why I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, you're throwing the nade. I get you.
That was a wonderful nade.
Yes, it was.
Now, hold on. Now, watch. Back it up a little bit. Do you see him reposition or move anywhere? I mean, the only thing I could think was my camera was blocking him, but, like, where did he go?
It's really hard to back up on these type of clips. Give me just a sec. All right, we went too far, but this is, you're looking for the man.
Fuck did he go?
We go back to 25. Got the flash. No, and you don't see him. You don't see him repositioning anywhere. He went down in that little bit of a dip and just kind of disappeared for a minute. Go back a little bit further here.
I bet you.
Only thing I can think is my camera is blocking, but I didn't see him. So, like, watch when he passes the tree. That last shot, I thought it was a good shot.
One thing I am noticing, though, is he went down into this gully in between the trees there where your red dot's on. And I noticed he went past that and was looking in the bushes past it.
Gotcha. So he could be below the horizon, rotating to my left.
Yeah. So watch as you run up here. So you're throwing the nade past where he went down into that gully right where the tip of your gun is pointed. He went down there.
That first, yeah.
I don't think he was that far forward. I think that that grenade landed like right where the guy was at. Because on the opposite side of that goalie, there's another goalie. I bet you the dude took a right turn and went up the hill a little bit and into the trees.
I think so.
You just don't see him because he's down and the hill's covering.
I was completely stumped, as you can tell.
Once again, it's really
Or
hard
he's a dirty little gamer. He was right there on that. Or there was a guy there, if that wasn't him.
That was a guy for sure.
Was that? Yeah, there he is.
So there he is. So keep an eye on where the bushes are with this guy. He's running in front of the bushes. You see him?
Yeah, it was in front of him. Yeah.
He was in front of the bushes. So he ran down into that gully and then went to the. He basically went to the right. We should see him pop up somewhere over here on the left in those trees, would be my assumption.
Is that a kill or do you lay down?
Was that a body right there?
It might have been.
I think you laid down.
Yeah, you pushed way too far here.
Mm-hmm. I think, dude, that might have been a body on the road there.
He might have been laying down right there in the road and walked right past, but he's definitely not in that bush because we saw him run past it.
Fuck did he go?
He's directly behind that position where he's looking. This happens to me all the time when I'm getting into a fight, especially if you kill somebody and then afterwards you try to find their body on woods and there's weeds. You're like, wait a minute, I have to retrace my steps. Where did I kill him at? Where did I see him at?
Where the fuck did that guy go? Clearly, I'm stumped and then in crossfire. Where did the first guy
There's a
go?
log. There's a log.
Where the fuck did the first guy go?
And that's probably him right there.
And yes, converts, I know, no PK.
This whole clip, not a single PK. Is that just a scav here?
He has a P-scav.
Oop.
That crossfire. Oh, fuck. Hell.
Damn.
I got 8.
That was brutal. You see that round go right under my nose? I was like, uh-oh.
I would say that in this case, what we didn't see from Wiz was a rat tendency. You pushed him. You naded him. You lost track of him, but you still pushed where you thought he was. And the rat tendency wouldn't have been to push that. It would have been to wait for him to pop up somewhere else.
Yeah, let me redefine. I play like a rat up until it's engagement time, and then I switch. But I try to move around as quietly as possible, if that makes sense. But, yeah.
All right. But that was my first thing that I noticed is damn, Wiz is going hard after this guy. And that was what I was thinking. I'm like, man, he's got a really crappy. he's got a really crappy gun and he's pushing this guy really hard. I'm like, bro, why push that fight that hard? This guy, I honestly don't know where he went. I saw him go down in front of those bushes into that little divot there, that little ravine, if you will. And then I lost him at that point. I have no idea where he went. And even with you looking for him, he was nowhere to be found. That man did a Houdini. He disappeared. I think if it was me, I probably would have pushed. As soon as I got to that ravine and didn't see that guy anymore, I probably would have backed off and try to hold some type of cover and wait for him to move, because he's got to go. He can only go one place, right? He's got to go past you, because there's the wall there at power. He could push back up to power if he wanted to, but he's probably not. He's going to try to push past you like he's heading towards gas station.
Yeah, but then you had the dude towards power sending hot tracers at me out of nowhere. I'm like, oh no, crossfire.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a guy. It may have been Sniper Scav 2 up there. Wait,
it
you didn't
looked like
get
it was
hit.
level. I didn't get hit, and it looked like the rounds were coming level, like across me. It wasn't like down at an angle or anything like that. So
Damn
it seemed
it.
like he was.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep playing the clip here. I want to see who you died to. Yeah, you died to a P-Scav. So you did die to a P-Scav. So it was probably a P-Scav up at power. I don't know if the guy you were actually fighting with is the one who killed you. I'm not 100% sure.
No, he did. I think he had a Mosin or something, some kind of bolt. He just got a
Thorax, yeah.
great shot on me.
Yep. Well, Vert, do you have anything you want to add to this besides PKs?
Makes me sad. That whole fight, not a single PK was popped. It might not have helped in that fight, but it wouldn't have hurt you either. I'm telling you that.
He says it wouldn't have hurt you.
I think that guy wraps all the way to the left there. Somehow Wiz misses him. He goes up beyond those hills, and I think that is who's Tracer that comes at right in front of Wiz's face right there at the end when he's fighting that P-Scav. I think that guy just continues pushing left, and with those hills being there, Wiz can't see him.
So you think the original guy I engaged with kept going? He was the one that was shooting from a distance, and that other P-Scav was just a random guy that came into the mix? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He came in from gas area. It seems like he heard you guys.
You don't even think it was the same guy? Wow.
No.
Okay.
That's very possible, actually. That's a.
Yeah, I never even thought about it like that.
Huh. Now this so you're thinking that first P-Scav went up by power and put himself in a position where he could be firing off shots at Wiz. Yeah. Second guy came up from gas, and that's who we saw. That's who we heard when Wiz got up into the bushes, and that's who he was shooting at during the second half of the sequence here.
Yep.
It's rough. It's a rough one for sure.
It hurt. It hurt.
Well, but we're able to look at it and break it down and reflect, and I think that's important.
One thing you did well with that shitty gun is you tried tap firing instead of trying to full auto that man. I like that. That gun is atrocious for bad recoil, so I commend you for that. I don't commend you for not PKing. You're always going to hear that from me. But
oh yeah, it's your signature move. I know.
I'm gonna be in Converge's stream later on, and I'm gonna be watching to make sure that he PKs on every fight.
unless I run out, I am always PKing when I am about to engage.
Well, it depends too. I mean, if it's late, you don't have any food, you're already low on energy, and you know what I mean. It's kind of like, I could PK win this fight, but I might die of exhaustion because I don't have any food, or, I mean, I don't know. But I think number one rule, you should always, if you remember, pre-med. It's like probably the best advice out there. Absolutely.
Yep.
Now, my injector's case is full of fucking morphines.
Yep. Same.
Oh, I've got an assortment. I barely use them.
Same here.
It hurts my soul.
But what I will say is that the utilization of a PK keeps you mobile while you're getting hit in a fight. And I feel like Wiz didn't really get much of a fight there. He got tapped in the chest and dropped pretty quickly. It wasn't like he was taking hits.
Right.
He wasn't getting shot. So PK might not have extended his life in this case. Because
Hey, but if I
clearly
would have
somebody
pulled
from
it
above.
off, it would have been rad.
Yeah, it would have. Well, but now if you were to deal with the threat in front of you, you still have an unknown threat somewhere who's got a beat on you. Probably up at power, up on the hill behind power. So once you dealt with that guy, now you're hiding behind a tree going, oh crap, somebody's got my number. And that was a sticky situation there. I mean, what would have happened if you hadn't have shot at the P-scav altogether? I want to think about, like, if we didn't push that fight at all and that P-scav just kept running, he never would have known you were there. He was running away from you, right to left at first. You weren't in his visual. He didn't see you. He had no idea you were there. He probably couldn't hear you that far away either. Audio's kind of scuffed right now. And I wonder if you hadn't have taken that fight, would you have ran in?
What gun was I using there again? Because I
Looked like
feel
an
like
AKS-74U with a suppressor and a red dot on it.
so.
It was
I
what,
feel like I
AKM with the
pushed
wood?
that because I either needed like PMC kills or scav kills or something, maybe. Because normally, yeah, if I'm tasking and that happened, I probably would have let the guy pass. I'm trying to do what I got to do. And I'm not worried about that guy running past. So
Farmer's right. AKM with the wood.
Yep.
AKM
oh,
with
the
wood.
dong, the old dong. Yep.
And
That's the beginning
setup.
budget build.
it is a rough
That's a
gun to
rough
run,
setup.
which hey, points to
It
converts for pointing
works.
out the fact that, you know what, you got to run that single fire. Even though it's a full auto gun, you're not going to hit anything. And this is not to add to the argument on recoil, because it's this gun has been crap running it like this full auto for every wipe, not just recently. And one of the things you learn is for accuracy, you stick to semi-auto with guns like this, for sure. None of them shoot like a laser anymore as is, but So I don't know, maybe not have pushed that one. Maybe let them walk by, be a little more ratty in that case and see what they're up to. Maybe grab a bush and wait and give them an ambush because they're in the area.
Bush.
The Bush Wookie.
Become the bush Wookie. Exactly.
Where's
You know,
that sample
how many
Barb?
times on woods I've heard men running, like herd a buffalo, and I just lay down in the fucking grass and let them run straight past me.
You know how many times I had a
course.
team of 5 step on me in the
You know,
bush?
and just keep going.
customs? There's no shame in the game when you're trying to get tasked on. That's what I tell everybody, man. Just stay focused
Yep.
on what you're doing. Don't get distracted by, shots and boots running around you. Name of the game is survival and getting shit done.
That's right. All right, so I've got one more clip for us to take a look at, gentlemen. It'll be a real quick one, and I'm just going to throw this out there once again. The W key got stuck, okay? I don't know what to say. I was running, there was danger, and I just kept running right at it, like I didn't know what I was doing.
What do you mean? You W key a lot of shit.
Okay,
W key and sing.
Let's review Exhibit A, shall we?
So,
Hey, that's killer. Hey, that's killer.
I go back, I missed it. This killer.
I'll slow it.
You don't do that to that guy.
Let me slow it down for you.
that was quick. Yeah. You need to remove W key when Killa's in the room. You know what I mean?
Here we go. I see him. I know it's Killa.
Let's just keep running at him. That is the move. That is the move.
Look at his face, though. You knew exactly what you did and what happened.
He's like, I already know what I did wrong.
Oh,
Someone from my chat would like to say Barb also likes to W key into the sniper scavs on the streets too.
I do. All right. So
did you have a VPO there?
I had a scav gun. I was a P scav in this case.
Oh.
I don't know what I had.
It looked like a VPO.
It was a VPO.
So no matter what, you didn't have a chance to kill Killer there.
There's no chance.
There was no chance. However, you know what I did do? I thought I owned the fucking mall. I was a P scav. It was quiet. It's a nighttime scav raid. I'm like, you know what?
Comfortable.
I'm comfortable with that map. I know where I'm going. I know where the loot is. I'm just running along, being a merry little P scav. And at that point, I knew I was fucked up. As soon as I came around the corner and he did the squat, I'm like,
the only thing I'm missing there was going into like a B hop right at him.
Just right to his face. Pull out the melee.
So let's break this down. I mean, it is kind of a blooper, but it was a short one I wanted to add in the end because I knew we would have a little bit of time left over. Even when you're a P scav, it's probably not a smart idea just to full send it around corners that you haven't checked before. I had no idea that Killer was not even on that map. He had been probably chilling here the entire raid. Nobody found him, but then I found him because I just decided to run around the corner. So you got to be careful with that.
There's one thing I want to point out, though. That was the best case scenario. You know why? Because even if you did have something that you were able to kill him and you killed him, say goodbye to your rep. Your rep would have tanked.
Very true. Yeah, for sure. Rep would have tanked. But in my mind, I look at this and I go, besides not pushing that corner, what could I have done differently? Because I basically just smacked the bee's nest at this point.
Well, I think one, first and foremost, you never interrupt Killa while he's in the mall having his lunch. Okay? Never. Right?
He's having sushi.
Oh God.
Second.
Oh God.
Hey, have fucking fun on scav runs. You know, like if you want to run around like you own the fucking mall, run around like you own the fucking mall. You know, like whatever. Scav run.
This was an experience. And easily could have happened if I was a PMC instead of a scav. It would have happened. This would have happened the exact same way. We run around these stores expecting there not to be anybody in them, and this can happen, which is why we shouldn't be running blindly into a store, why we should be checking our corners and moving maybe a little bit more tactfully.
Look at the areas in too. Perfect shadows covering them.
Isn't that only where he lurks? In the shadows, in the corners?
Well, yeah.
Like 9 times out of 10, he sees me before him. I see tracers, I get hit, I take cover, and I go, what the hell just happened?
Or you just get laser beamed in the head, and that's all that.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah.
And that's all she wrote.
They don't call him Killer for nothing.
Oh, goodness, guys. Well,
Hey, Barb,
I didn't have a PK on.
don't do that. just don't do that. All
Don't
right?
do that.
That's the only thing I gotta say.
I mean, as a learning experience, you know, for new players and even for veteran players, it always pays off to be slow and methodical and mindful, especially when you're walking through a mall and it's dark with shitty lighting, you know, like, but I think that goes for every map for the most part, you know, or take things a little bit slower, be a little bit more mindful,
100%.
clear your corners.
Completely agree. Slow it down,
guys. 100%.
And it helps.
Take it slow. Mind your corners. Use your ears. Listen for those sound cues. Even with audio being shitty, audio still works sometimes.
I mean, even Pestily even said, I was watching a stream. This was probably years ago now, a year and a half, and someone asked him, like, how they're new to the game, how should they play? And he straight up told them, he's like, not like me. He goes, if I was literally new or trying to play this game like the right way. He's like, I would advance 50 yards or 100 yards, and I would sit there and listen. I would move again to the next cover and listen, and I agree with it, and that's kind of why I play that way,
Yeah, from Papa Pest himself, man. Mind your
just Chad the fuck out and run around every corner.
PK and fucking W key.
PK and W key, baby. Let's go.
Every time it wears off, it pops a new one, and he just crazy glues the W key down.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we got a good laugh out of that one. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Obviously it was a scav run, but still, sometimes you run around a corner and you're going to get smacked by Killa. It's going to happen. And this is why you wear the brown pants when you game. This is why we wear the brown pants, guys. All right. Well, let's go around the room real quick here. Tell me where I can find you. Shout out your socials, please, and we'll start off with Mr. Farmer again.
For the most part, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:45 p.m. Mountain Standard Time at twitch.tv/FarmerDylon. The rest of my socials are also all Farmer Dylon, so I'm pretty simple to find.
Mr. Birds?
Right. It's usually 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday, Tuesday, sometimes Wednesdays, Fridays. I throw Saturday and Sundays in there as much as I can as well. Just like I said earlier, I hate my job and I like to stream. So all my socials are Converts TTV, because some people that don't use Converts anymore have my accounts on every single platform, and I absolutely hate it. So Converse TTV can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, all the above. So
Wiz,
where can we find you,
Wiz?
Wiz?
It's your turn.
Wizzy, wake up. SoFlo Wiz, that's W1Z. I'm on Twitch pretty much every night, streaming Tarkov, and I play other games as well, but mainly Tarkov. Pretty much 8 p.m. Eastern, give or take, till midnight. Sometimes I run much later depending on what's going on, if we're vibing. I also do a lot of like DJ stuff and music and stuff incorporated with my stream. I'm on Twitter. I'm not huge on social media type stuff, but I'm also on Twitter and YouTube as well, and TikTok. Same handle, SoFloWiz W1Z. And yeah.
And I'd like to give an honorable mention to Mr. Hack.Slash. He was not able to make it tonight, but I want to give him a shout out. If you guys want to find out more information about Mr. Hack.Slash, check him out on Twitter. You just search Hack.Slash. You'll see the handsome man. Also on twitch.tv/Hack.Slash. You can find him there most nights streaming after about 6 p.m. And I, ladies and gentlemen, am Bad Barbados. Twitch TV/Bad Barbados. You can also find me on Twitter and on YouTube. Recently on the TikToks. I'm not going to be on there much longer. I'm going to be focusing mostly on Twitch and YouTube for content. But yeah, I'd love to see you guys in chat. Now, check it out, guys. I know you guys are watching this stream from everybody's channel right now, and I want you to do me a favor. If you're not already following this streamer, do me a favor. Click that follow button. Give them some love and check out the content that they actually produce when they're streaming, when we're not doing the podcast. Come in, hang out, okay? Ask your questions. And that's really what we live for, that stuff. We love seeing you guys in chat. We love talking with you guys. So do me a favor. If you're not already following, hit that follow button and come and see us while we're streaming. Do it.
Real quick. Are you guys gaming after this? You streaming? Because I'm going to kick off the official podcast after party as soon as we get done with this.
I'm gaming. I'm not streaming, but I'm gaming.
I'm streaming and gaming, yes.
I am. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Let's get in. Let's get it in.
Let's get it in, guys. Okay. We're going to end it here, and I will see you guys. Actually, we're going to change it up, right? We're going next Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard. Next Wednesday, we're going to start the next podcast, and we're going to start doing the podcast on Wednesday nights. Hump day. Had to get it in. Sorry, I had to get it in. But we're going to be doing it on Wednesday nights, not Friday nights, because that's when we all mesh up. And you know, that's what we're going to be doing. So expect us again Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard. Well, we're all going to be here next week, full crew. I'm excited for it. Love you guys. Have a great one.
Love you long time.
Love you long time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.